Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me. This is our part two of I think going to be 10 sessions over the next year plus, I think, for Around the World in 80 Trees and tree-like plants. So today is South America, which, oh my gosh, I had such a hard time finding out, like drilling it down. There were so many cool plants. First, let me show you, if you missed the first one, this is how I ended up doing mine. And I highlighted a map of North America, or I drew one. You can do it before or after. And these numbered spots are where the plants that I was talking about occurred, but it's not their full range. And then I did an accordion map style of each, or accordion pullout of each, which was super fun. And I'm going to do that again for South America. So I got my page ready. So that's ready. It's kind of a very crude map of South America, getting ready for my accordion. And so I think since we need to get going because South America is a big continent, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And if someone
question, is it accordion for each tree or each 8 trees?
It's 4 sections, so 3 folds, so 1 for each of the 8 trees that we'll do.
One for South America. So 1 accordion for South America. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that kind of helps contain it into something more manageable, and figure out ahead of time where I numbered mine. So the way I want it to lay flat in my journal, I made sure there's number 1, 2, 3. I numbered them in pencil 4, and then I do mine that way. So then 5, 6, 7, 8. So when I where you go. See, that's why I number it. When I paste it in my journal, then it works as a fold out. So put that there. Okay, so everyone, I'm going to get going. And now we're going to get going around the world in 80 trees. And if you're new, I'm Roseanne Hansen. I run my own Exploring Overland Field Arts Institute, and I'm author of Nature Journaling for a Wild Life, a beginner's guide, and then the kind of master's degree book, Master of Field Arts. And I'm also the art and science program coordinator for the University of Arizona Desert Laboratory on Tumamoc Hill. And I've been journaling for, oh goodness, 40 years, since I was a young girl, and then into college. And I really, can everyone make sure you're muted, please? Thank you. I hear there's someone who's not muted. Okay. So we are, everyone make sure you're muted, please. We are heading to South America, and what here's this map will be on the page that I'll create for your recording, so you can copy this map later. Don't worry about doing it now. It's a really hard coastline to draw, but this gives you an idea, of course, where we're going. And we're going to start right out with our first species, which is an rainforest species in the Amazon. And you can probably take a wild guess. This is a very important tree. If you've guessed the rubber tree, that is correct. This is Hevea brasiliensis. It's in the spurge family, a euphorb, a Euphorbiaceae. And it is endemic to the Amazon rainforests. And the latex extracted from the tree is the primary source of natural rubber. So latex comes from the phloem, or mostly outside the phloem, sorry. That's the tissue in the vascular plants that transport soluble organic compounds, important for photosynthesis. So the latex is tapped. You can see how they do that, cutting whorls in the bark and then having spigots coming out below the whorls where they bleed off the vessels, the sap from the vessels. So they get quite large in the wild, although most of the photos you're able to find are actually plantations, but say up to like 140 feet, 43 meters. And the leaves have 3 leaflets and are spirally arranged around the branches. And they're dioecious flowers, so plants, so separate male and female flowers. So let's start drawing. I'm going to now let me know if you can't see the example. I'll be drawing and maybe doing a little painting. You should be seeing both now. So I think I'm going to start with, well, first I want to name the tree. So this is tree number 1, and this is how did I do that? I want to do it the same way. I put the common name first and then the genus and species. So this is the rubber tree. And I'm trying a different camera angle here, so hopefully you can see better what I'm doing. And this is Hevea brasiliensis. And I think what I'll do is do my tree on this side. I'm gonna, here's the bottom and then going up to the top, just so I get the proportions right. And I'm just sort of putting some dots here to get my shape and proportions right before I jump right in. So let's jump right in here now. And I'm going to do like broken views of the trunk here. And as it branches, I'm going to increase the, or there. Now you can see that a lot better, sorry. And then we've got clumps of those pretty leaves. Sort of focused on getting some of those clumps drawn. Remember, it's very tempting to try to do a ton of detail, but you don't want to, because this is a small little representation of the shape of the tree. And I'm intentionally being squiggly and doing broken lines. So try not to do, a solid like cloud shape. See how I'm making it broken. And then I'm going to go in with the color and enhance little dots for leaves and things. But that's a beautiful leaf shape. And I also want to get in a few of the facts. There we go. So let's leave room for that, the leaf here, or the leaflet. I'm just going to do a real quick sketch here, just so I make sure I get that. Pretty wavy. So really interesting plant, isn't it? And who was the first person who discovered the usefulness of the rubber? You think about things like that and how many plants humans do utilize, and that human propensity for asking the question, how could I use this sap? It's must have been accidentally boiled at some point, and then they discovered that it had really great properties. Really pretty shapes on these. So let's see, this is in the spurge family, which is Euphorbiaceae. Ooh, it barely fit. And so milky latex. Tapped for natural rubber. Oh, and it's so there's an important fact. It's dioecious. That's always a difficult word for me to spell. Dioecious. And then the leaflet, the leaves are spirally arranged. And now let's get some color on here. Hopefully that ink is enough relaxed or dried in that it won't bleed too much. Get my paint. I'll probably do some blorks and things onto my other sections. That's can't really help it. Because I'm going to put this here. Let's mix up some. Looks like really pretty bright green, isn't it? Some yellow. I'm going to go with the cyan and make a nice leafy green. It's kind of wet, so I'm going to be really, wow, yeah, that's very watery. So I'm being very conservative right now in what I'm laying down. I don't want super blobs. And then I'm going to come in, yeah, with a tissue so that I don't want that to be that dark. I want variation. So, and let's go in and paint this. If I had the time, I would have reserved the veins, probably those lighter veins, but you know, we've got a big continent to go on, and I won't probably make it. I'm using 130-pound paper, which was the only one I had in this longer length, and the sizing on it is not very. It's repelling the water a little bit. It's kind of weird. I'm not used to this as much as I am my daily journal paper. So I'm having to like work it into the paper. It's really strange. Now let's see if I can fill this in a little bit. I like to vary the color hues so that it's not all one color. So I'm gonna add a little bit of dark blue in there to get some shadows going on at the bottom of my little clumps. Because the light's coming in, so it's lighter on the top and then darker down below. And the trunk is very light. I think these have been pretty stripped. As you can see, most of the bark on the main a natural tree is obviously pretty has a lot of pattern, but it looks like in the plantations that they turn a different color. And so we might highlight that. Let's throw maybe some dark behind just to approximate. There's forest behind, so that way we can kind of highlight the white trunk there. And that helps show, oh, that has a white trunk. So we'll let this dry. It's still a little damp, and then I could go in later, say, and use a slightly darker, see how I can use this darker, warmer blue to put some shadow on the leaves and show where they're folding and that, but it's kind of still a little too wet for that. So we'll leave that to dry, because now we have to keep moving. I have to, I've got 15 minutes per tree and I'm running over here. So, okay, there. I'm going to go back and hit play. So this should show the whole screen now. You should be seeing the whole screen and not my document camera. All right, where are we going next? This is fun. So many interesting trees in this continent. So here we're heading up toward the coast.
Can I ask a question, Roseanne?
Sure.
Did I miss where you were, where the rubber tree was in this particular instance? Where were you?
Yeah, you must have missed the beginning one. It was over in the Amazon, down below. I'll have the map for you at the end with all the locations.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, so here's an interesting plant. This is like my favorite. Beautiful spiral. And then look at that bean pod. Okay, look at that bean pod. And look at the size of it. So this one blew me away. I mean, seriously. So you think, oh, that's just like 4 inches long. No, this is like the world's largest seed pods. And this is called the monkey ladder tree. Or it's actually not a tree, it's a vine, a liana. But I gave myself some leeway because this was just too good to pass up. And I see someone's put something in the chat. If you need something from me, please just say it out loud. I don't want to access the chat while I'm doing the presentation. It's too complicated. So the monkey ladder is Anthara gigas, and it is a liana or a vine in the bean family, Fabaceae. And it is native to Central America, the Caribbean, and Northern South America, as well as Africa. So the seed pods grow up to 8 feet long, 2.5 meters. And then here's the cool thing. The seeds are shaped like hearts, and they're red, and they have a hollow cavity in them. They float on the sea. They intentionally, I mean, this is how they disperse, because they float. They'll go way down the rivers out to the sea and around, literally, to germinate elsewhere. And their common name in French is Coeur de la Mer, or heart of the sea, or sea heart. And interestingly, they're viable for 2 or more years. So they're really meant to travel. So let's draw this super cool plant. Oops, sorry. Okay, now we should be back to seeing my sheet here. We are going to do the monkey ladder. Super fun. So this is number 2. And I use the numbers because then I'll be putting these numbers on the main map. And again, the numbers and the location are not the range of the species, but where generally this specimen that you're sketching is from. Anthara, gigas. And so I think, well, obviously we're going to draw that super cool bean pod. We can do like a quick approximation of the way this vine comes, and it's a little gonna have to do some it's hard to get this. See, I lost the thread of this one here. This one didn't quite get it, so this is the danger of sketching in ink and not doing it in pencil first is I didn't map it first, but it is a liana or vine, and it's a woody that obviously grows on other trees. But here's, I think, the main most interesting thing is that seed pod. I wish I could have taken more time on this. Is really interesting, but this will just have to be an approximation. There's the maybe tree behind it. And I can add some detail later, but what I really want is that super fun seed pod. So I'm going to make that bigger for a minute.
Roseanne, did you say what type of tree it grows on?
You know, I forgot to look it up. I don't think it's specific to any one. It's not like some of the tillandsias, the epiphytes. I think it's just opportunistic, but we can check that later. In the natural history of it, there was no indication of any specific, like it's not a parasite, so it doesn't have a specific host tree.
Roseanne, can you pan back over so that the other pictures and the words are out? Or just like you could just slide it over zoomed in.
How's that?
That's
Better?
great, thank you.
Okay, sure. I wanted to get just a tiny bit more detail on this super fun bean pod. I mean, can you imagine walking along and finding an 8-foot tall bean pod? I love it. It's just like super fun. I'm using really light ink strokes to show kind of that these are, you know, raised in the middle. And then there's almost like a margin to the seed, you can see. And then we can enhance that with that. But here's like the fun part is, don't forget your scale. Oh, I forgot the scale up here, right? Let's quick little remedial. This is about, I think it was about 140 feet. That gives you the scale. So let's do that with our pod. Let's go ahead and, well, we're drawing this one there. That one looks like it's only about 5 feet. Guessing based on what the gentleman is holding there. So 5 feet.
Roseanne.
Pod. Yeah.
Question, are these seed, this is Cindy, are these seed pods like hanging on the end of tendrils?
They're inside the pod.
Out further up?
So this is a bean. It's in the Fabaceae family. So picture your snap peas or sugar snap peas. That's the pod, and those seeds are inside the pod.
Right, but what's holding the pod up there? Is it on the end of like a long
it's stuck on the vine. That's the vine on the right. So it'll flower on the vine, and so it'll probably come somewhere where I didn't have a photo of the flowers, but the flowers will be up near the leaf clusters.
It looks like a bean.
Sorry?
In the center there, that there's all kinds of, It looks like in the center where that one bean is, that there's tendrils or something that are attached to it that are growing from above, and then it just hangs down. No, I'm confused.
No, I don't think so. I think that the seeds are in the
No, the pod
in the
itself,
pod. Yeah.
is it attached? What's it
The
attached?
pod is attached to the vine.
Okay. So there's a vine with the pods on it.
So picture your garden, your garden peas, only this one is on steroids.
Okay.
So let's see, that's about the width of an adult's hand. So we want to say that's like about 4 inches. Or you can use metric. And this is called a sea heart in English. And that's your seed. Okay. And it is up to 8-foot pods and endemic to northern South America. Africa, and the Caribbean. Oops, I always put 2 R's in Caribbean. It's crazy. It's 2 B's. Okay, tiny little writing there. Let's throw some color on there so we can get going because got a long way to go.
Where did you say those leaves are found? We see the heart in the pod, those leaves we see. Where are they at? Just on the vine?
Yeah, you can see them right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's throwing off little branches, branchlets and things. Okay, so I want to get at that pretty reddish color. Let's see. Okay, make sure you're muted, folks, so we don't interrupt too much here. I just took my magenta and added a little burnt sienna to get that kind of pretty reddish color. And I'm going to do a light kind of background. See if I can, I think I'll leave like a little white there. Putting darker at the bottom so it helps to show the how its shape. I can smooth that hard edge. And let that dry. And then I'll come back and probably darken that a little bit. And let's just give that, as long as we're here, let's give the seed pod a little color. It's kind of an orangey yellow. And I'm probably going to leave the vine itself just black and white, since it's not my best drawing ever. It'll just be a ink drawing just to show, and maybe I'll come back later with some ink work and improve it and give it some shape and shadow, but that might work really well. I'm going to let this dry because then I want to go in and add a little bit of, well, maybe I'll drop in just a tiny bit there and see what happens. Nope, still too wet to work on adding the bumps, as it were. Adding just a tiny bit, very, very dry brush here. And I can come back later and enhance that, but that's a good start. And just smoothing this just a little bit to get rid of the hard edges there. Okay. All right. Guess what? It's time to move on. Oh, and I did it. I've got some blorks on the next one. Oh, well, we just have to live with them. That's part of the fun. Okay. Let's find out where we're going next. This is fun. Wasn't that just a cool one? Take a sip of tea. Okay, where are we going next? So here's the map of who was asking, you were asking before. And I'll have this with all of the locations at the end, and it'll be on the website. So next we're going back into the heart of the Amazon. And look at this cool tree. This is a crazy tree. It blooms and fruits on its trunk. It is called the Brazilian grape tree. So those are probably like plum sized. It is called the jabuticaba. That's a great word. And it's in the Myrtaceae family, and it is native to Brazil. They're about 10 to 30 feet tall, and the fruits, the flowers and fruits are directly on the trunk. And it's widely used raw or made into jellies, jams, juice, and wine. And the jabuticaba comes from the Tupi word jaboti or jabuti, tortoise, and kaba for place, the place where tortoises are found. So you can imagine as these fall off that tortoises would be dying to eat them. Can you imagine? They probably, like our desert tortoises who eat prickly pear fruit, their lips get bright pink around. So there's probably tortoises in the Amazon with purple lips when they enjoy this. So here's what the flower beautiful looks like, and then the little beginning fruitlets there. So after the flowers, it looks like clumps of flowers and then little clumps of fruit. Super cool. So let's draw this fun one. So running into, I'm gonna have to, oh, this is gonna hurt. I'm gonna have to put my camera on my drawing. There we go. Ah, okay. So this is jabuticaba. I'm going to use the native word. It is Plania cauliflora. Okay, so going to do again, let me do this so you can see me drawing. This is the bottom, and I want to get make sure I've got my proportions right. It's kind of a little bit of a umbrella-y shape with the kind of jaggedy canopy. And then we've got a really pretty trunk. So let's really lightly first going to sketch the initial trunk and branchings. Think how convenient it is to harvest these. You know, you don't even have to climb up very far. Wonder what the evolutionary reason for this would be. Not pretty common on plants, is it? Oh, I made the branching a little too high.
Rosian, I'm from Brazil, so there's actually several plants with what we call cauliflower. I don't know how to say in English, but it's flowering and fruits on the trunk.
Oh, so there's an evolutionary reason for that then. There must be, I'd love to know more why they evolved that. Must be a mechanism for both pollination
And dispersion.
Yes, exactly.
And depending on where it is, might be something like to hold it, from being windborne to keeping it from blowing away before it's ready to be a real seed.
That's a really good point. I'm liking how this the shape. So the leaves look like they form a really pretty kind of almost like an umbrella around. I'm trying to approximate like that without, you don't want to go drawing like lots of individual leaves, but I can just scribe a little bit. So you just get into the weeds on this stuff if you try too hard, because what I really want to show is the fruits. And I'm going to go ahead and use my pen to do them, leaving a little white dot to show the shiny. Wow, there's a lot of them. Ha! I could be here for the rest of the day drawing all these. It looks like they go all the way down. Probably have to come back later to add them. Otherwise, you guys are going to just watch me drawing dots all day, right? Because one of the things we can do is I'm going to do a pull out, a zoom out. You can even see some of them up through the canopy. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is do a zoom out, and I'm going to do a hand draw a circle here. Whoa. Always scary, isn't it? Oh, not bad. That's my zoom out. And then we can do like a close up of a fruit cluster to show. Looks like they're almost have lobes on them. Just go ahead and choose a area and just create your own little fruit.
Do we say that humans eat these fruits, or are they?
Oh yeah, yeah. They love them. Make jams, jellies, wine. Almost has a eucalyptus looking bark. So fruits, if you're from North America, you might say they're, or Europe, they're plum sized, or wherever you're from, use a comparison. Let's get some facts in here. We want our information. So this is native to Brazil. flowers, fruits directly on trunk. And then I'm going to put, I often do this when I'm journaling. I'll put a question mark and I circle it and I say, why this mechanism? Evolutionarily. And I'll look that up. I'll do some research. It's all about learning. That's why we're here. We want to learn about these amazing things. So totally fun. Tortoise's place. Jabuti Kaba equals place where the tortoises are found. How fun is that? So we're going to do some quick color now. I'm only able to kind of get the first pass of color in here because it really needs to dry before I come back. But let's maybe get these fruits. So it's, I'm going to start with see if I can get a really nice warm purple going there. Oops, forgot to put that in. And let's give that I'm just going to do a light wash on those. Let it dry and then I'll come back and give it the depth and shapes. Maybe I'll come in here. I want to reserve a little more white spots for the shiny. So I'm going to let that dry. Maybe throw in some green leaves. I'm going to keep that pretty. This is going to be hard. I want to try to approximate that almost serrated look because of the pretty leaves. And yes, I'm allowing the yellow and the green not to be completely blended. Sometimes I just like that it shows more variation, the brightness of the leaves as the sun coming through.
The white flower on the right stalk there, that's after it's flowered out. The fruit is what the purple things are, and then the white.
That's the flower is white, so the flowers come first, and then after they're pollinated, then it forms the drupe, the fruit.
Okay.
I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll come in and add some darks and things in here to try to give that a bit more of the, I love that umbrella-y look.
On the trunk where you have the close-up of the fruit, it almost looks like those irregular spots are previous fruit places. Like it's
this here?
Yeah,
Like,
on the dark
here.
black one, the black in the black fruit, the dark fruit, and you see those sort of scars, the circular scars. It could be where the fruit from the previous year.
Sure looks like it. I would agree.
And they kind of have little stems.
Yeah, isn't that remarkable?
Fascinating.
Yeah, I thought this was another fun one. South America is full of crazy plants. Just love it. All right, but you know what? It's time to move on. I'm still running a little behind. Okay. So another fun one. Now, where are we going next? Because we've only done 3. Okay, we are heading to the coast now, out toward the Atlantic, the South Atlantic. And this is an important tree. It is the Brazilwood tree. And I added this one because it's really important. In fact, it is endemic to the Atlantic forest, but it is the origin of the name Brazil rather than the other way around. This tree was not named for the country. The country was named for the tree, the Terra do Brasil, the land of Brazilwood. And brasa comes from the word ember. It is very reddish, and then the wood yields a very important red dye. It was so important that excessive overharvesting in the 18th century just about wiped out this tree. And it's very difficult to restore because it is a climax species, meaning it takes a long time and a succession of other plants precede it. So it's an important plant, really beautiful, about 50 feet tall, an really important habitat for endemic orchids and other epiphytes. Epiphytes are plants that grow on other plants and receive their nutrients from that plant rather than photosynthesizing themselves. It's also super famous as the wood is used to make bows for violins, cellos. And in fact, interestingly enough, I picked up a book the other day called The Spanish Bow. And it's about a cellist in the Spanish Civil War, and his bow was made with Brazilwood. So I thought that was fun. It also has gorgeous flowers, and look at those seed pods. So like, there's so much to love about this tree. Let's draw it, because this is amazing. Look at those armor on those seed pods. Crazy. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a legume. It's in the Fabaceae family. So it's got very beautiful flowers that are very common shape for legumes. So let's draw this one. Okay, I got this. This is a little crooked, so that's funny. This 130-pound is really hard to fold and score. So this is Brazilwood. Which is Pabrasilia echinata. And the echinata, oh, I said that in Spanish. It's not Spanish. It's kind of a pseudo-Latin, but echinata, think of spiny. It means spiny. So echinoderm. So think of spiny things. That's a cool word origin. Pau Brasilia and Echinata. So, do I want to do a shape of the tree, or do I want to do the flower? Maybe I'll just do a little tree down in the corner, just so we can get like the size in general. So it has general shape, and then we'll do a seed pod and flower if I have time. But I just want to get that shape of the crown and how it, it has these the way the branches and things group. So it has a magnificent structure. So let's get our scale in here. These grow to about 15 meters, 49 feet. And I forgot the scale on this. Well, on the Jabuticaba, we'll have to come back and get that one. I forgot the scale. But that gives me that to start with. And then we can focus on like a really cool, let's put the bean right in the middle. I mean, that's just super cool. And we want to get these spines in here. Take my bracelet off, it keeps banging. There we go. So we'll get spines going. This is gonna be like those the fruits. There's too many, so I don't want to get too much in the weeds. And I'll be able to use the watercolor to give this some shape. Wow, do I have time to do a really quick flower? So we'll try seed pods are heavily armed. Oh, except I also have to do my notes. So I don't think I could put a flower in here real quick. Let me just see if I can leave room for the red pistils. Looks like those are red. Is that red color? Oh, it's red color. Nice. I'll send it back in just a minute. All those of you who are drawing. Oh, something else. Sorry. I'll enhance that with color. So there you guys go. And let's get a few facts in here. So this is legume. It's endemic to the Atlantic forest. Let's see. Oh, the wood yields a red dye, which is very famous amongst the dyeing circles, Brazil wood. And Brasa equals ember. I think that's good. Do a tiny bit of color because I'm going to have to move on. Let's see. Let's get that yellow base, really bright yellow, so I can come back later and add the red. Just about everything just is yellow, so that's good to just start. Nice and bright. See how that resists the paint? It's so strange.
The trunk looks brown from the picture.
Yeah, it's very reddish brown, very beautiful tree. Okay. You know, I'd be tempted to leave this unpainted, the little tree, but I can't help it. Oh, I better stop because that's wet. Come back to that one. Okay. That's a beautiful one, isn't it? Let's keep going though. Got 4 more to do. Where are we going next? So we're only halfway down. Now we're going straight into the middle of the continent. Well, slightly down, but pretty much halfway between the Atlantic and the Pacific. And this is a beautiful plant. Brilliant red flowers. And it is called the ceibo. And it is an erythrina and the national tree of both Argentina and Uruguay. It's native to that region and also southern Brazil and Paraguay. So really cool that it's very endemic to that region. And I like the common names for it. Crista galli, the cockspur, or the crybaby tree. I wasn't able to track down the etymology of why it's called the crybaby tree. But it grows in big gallery forests in the wild. And it likes to get its feet wet in swamps and along water courses. And this is what the flower looks like, which is, of course, we want to draw that. Super cool. So beautiful tree, and not super huge, 5 meters to 10, maybe 16 to 30 feet tall. So beautiful tree. Imagine what this looks like, all blooming at once. So let's draw that one. There. So these are shaping up nicely. And so the way I do mine is I now flip it over, and this is the the fifth one there. So we're on tree number 5. I know this parallax is a bit off, but this angle allows you to see my writing, me writing and doing, and my hand isn't obscuring it so much. So this is the Sabo, which is Erythrina. We have a lot of Erythrina species in the Americas. We've got a beautiful one here in southern Arizona and Mexico called Erythrina flabelliformis, the coral bean tree. Let's see, what are we going to do with this one? Well, I want to put that super cool flower right in the middle. I just can't help it. That's just like super cool. And then maybe we want to do our little, get the shape of the tree here. Can't tell if this is like one tree or two, if it just split really early on, and it just has some really pretty shapes. Very wavy, curved branches. Oops, that one didn't curve as much as I wanted. We want to give it an elegant kind of aspect. And then we're going to, this is going to have lots of red. Beautiful. Can't even see the leaves when it's like this. And am I going to do color? Of course, I can't help it. Up, we're going to go into our title because I didn't do my proportions right, did I? Shadows are showing that, trunks, this looks like pretty dark bark. All right, let's not get into the weeds too much on that. But that gives us a shape, and let's put in that this is about 16 to 30 feet tall. And what I'm going to do is here, since I didn't leave a lot of space there for my thing, I'll just have to put it this way. Yep. Okay, and let's get this really cool flower. This is like a vessel shape here. It's got a big, like a pelican's maw. Sounds like someone's not muted. So everybody check your mutes, please. And then be able to do a lot more enhancement with color. So let's not forget our little facts. This is the national tree of Argentina and Uruguay. And it is, let's see, 16 to 33 feet tall-ish. And it's called Crista Galli or cockspur. For the shape of the flower. Really beautiful. You might be drawing with this there, or straight on, like the lily. It looks like a red lily from Straight On, doesn't it? Beautiful. So I'm gonna do some red here. It's amazing how quickly this time goes. I'm like, oh. Okay, so. In the sun, this looks really bright red, doesn't it? So I don't want to go too dark with my red.
Does anyone know how big the flowers are? It reminds me of the tulip trees we have here in Washington. The flowers are just huge on the tree.
Yeah, I just based on the photo, I would say the clusters look to be 5 or 6 inches across, and maybe the individual flowers 2 to 3 inches. I'm just doing my initial wash, again, coming back later to do the details. I'll have to use, different values to show the fact that this is a vessel. I'm so tempted to go in and color this. Why not? Just obscured my title there. Not good planning. That's okay. I can go in and fix it later. Okay, I'm gonna leave that, come back later. So I'm slowly catching up. Can make a quick brown here by adding
Roseanne,
blue.
Roseanne,
Yeah.
Roseanne,
Yes.
I think it's called the cryberry tree because formations of drops fall like nectar, and they look like teardrops.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for sharing
If
that.
I'm reading the right plant.
Perfect.
It's very heat resistant. If that's the same tree they're talking about, it looks like it is. Yeah, it's Erythina christagalli. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
And hummingbirds love it.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. You can see the shape as they would come into the nectaries, then they're going to get the pollen on their head. So absolutely perfect hummingbird, sunbird plant. So we'll come back to that to enhance the colors after it's dry. But that's a fun.
The drops of nectar drip from the flowers like teardrops.
Nice. Oh, that is fabulous. So it drops nectar. How cool is that? Thank you for looking that up.
You're welcome.
All right, gotta move on. Let's see, we've got 3 more, 3 more to do. And where are we heading now? We're getting even more interesting. So many interesting plants in this continent. So now we're over on the toward the coast of Chile to a super interesting plant. Kind of nondescript, this tree, and you wouldn't know much. It was very remarkable until you start delving into it. It is endemic to the warm temperate central Chile. But here's the really important things. Like I was talking earlier about how much humans use trees and what we find out about them. So the inner bark of the soap bark tree, Quillaja saponaria, Quillaja, maybe they'd say, I don't know. It contains glycoside saponins. And part of that includes an adjuvant, which is an important component of making vaccines. It is a natural substance that allows the vaccine to be more easily carried into the body and increases the immune response. And the glycoside in this one is called QS21. And it's so important. Even some of the vaccine manufacturers have been using components of it in COVID vaccines. So this is a super cool plant. Has been over harvested, and so much of the habitat that this tree is dependent on has been cleared. There's only a small amount left. So super important, interesting plant. Soap bark, yes, it has saponins in it. So if you swish the barks in water, it would foam. So super cool tree. And I love that. Look at the beautiful seed pod, which I think is lovely. So let's jump on this one. Okay. So this is, oh, nope, that didn't work. I was getting too far under the light. That's better. So this is the soap bark tree. Quillaja saponaria, which means soapy. And Yeah, let's definitely show this. So it's kind of a very kind of, I don't want to call it a messy tree, but it's looks like it's got a pretty thick trunk and it sort of branches a little bit here. Just sort of guessing because it looks like it has really dense dense foliage in groups. I want to leave bits of this open. It does have some open aspect. But I think that gives a good kind of feel for the shape of this tree. And that's what we're after with these little thumbnail trees. I kind of did the slope on purpose there. And then I love the seed pod, which I think I'll put down here after I write some facts. So this is endemic. To central Chile. And it likes warm, temperate. And let's see, it's about 15 to 20 meters tall. Oh, I think I'm using feet. So let's say 50 feet for this one. We're just guessing. And important, let's see, contains important, and it's called an adjuvant for vaccine manufacture. Hopefully I've left enough room there for our seed pod. So let's fit in that lovely seed pod. Ooh, hopefully this one won't take too much. Okay, so there's a central point. First, I'm just going to do shapes, and then I'll come in and fill the details. So we've got this. These are challenging, aren't they? Wow. Especially to go straight to ink. Ha! Looks like this one's empty, doesn't it? No, there's a little seed kind of lying in there.
Roseanne, what you're drawing now then is the pod of what those white flowers are on the
Yes,
leaves?
correct. You can see the, let's go ahead and zoom up here. You can see them starting to, those were the fruits. And then when they dry, they split open and let the seeds out. You
Okay.
can see the little seeds right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't quite get this relationship right here. These are kind of smooshed together more. Nice. That's a fun one. You might even, if you had time, and we do have time, we might indicate that the leaves, do a small leaf with a tiny little toothed. So, oh, yeah, I kind of ran out of time on painting the colors on this one. Can do a quick start. Let's just give the pod a bit of just a sienna wash so that later I can come back and add more detail. That at least gets me started. Get your lighter base colors in, and then you come back later when it's dried and add your darks to help create the depth as a real successful way to do that. See, I'm just adding dark blue right on top of this sienna here to create almost a dark gray-y red. That's a great way to quickly get color. They're pretty dark green. and the leaf looks pretty, what's the word, like a dense, thick, which it would if it were in a hot climate. They're kind of waxy and thick to help preserve moisture. And it's shiny. So how can I show the shiny? Try to leave a little white spot maybe. And then I can come back and enhance the green of that. Really dark. See, I'm just doing blobs. The fair amount of water. And kind of showing the grassland, because this is in the pampas, the more the grassy areas. So, all right, we're gonna have to move on though. Yep, definitely time to move on. This is fun. Okay, the next one's even cooler. I think they all just keep getting cooler and cooler. Now we are heading not too far from the last place, but a little farther south more toward the archipelagos. And it's this crazy tree. I mean, these are amazing trees. This is called the monkey puzzle tree, or the pehuen. And it is endemic to the South Central Andes. So that's Western Argentina and Southern Chile. And it is known as the tree that saw the dinosaurs. It's a living fossil. It is so ancient. It is highly endangered by logging, grazing, and changing fire regimes. And they're huge. They're about 130 feet tall. And they got the name based on it would puzzle a monkey to climb it because they have such crazy architecture. And it's a very sacred tree to the Mapuche people. And the pehuen is what they call it. So that's what we're going to call it. And it's Araucaria araucana. And it's just beautiful. Sorry, just wanted to zoom in on this. Is what the details of this, the foliage look like. It's amazing. So it is a conifer, and the cones have separate male and female cones. So it's dioecious. And that's what the seeds look like. You know, similar, that looks really similar to our piñon nuts, right? So let's draw this guy. This is number 7. Okay, there we go. This is the monkey puzzle tree, and oh, look at that! I forgot the first one didn't have the. We're gonna have to call it the monkey puzzle. It's pehuen, P-E-H-U-E-N, or monkey puzzle. And that is Araucaria.
They're grown domestically here where I live in British Columbia. And I have lots in my neighborhood. I see them every day. They are just amazing trees.
Aren't they? Very cool that you've got them in your neighborhood.
where I grew up, Seattle, you could see them in people's yards. in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was going to say they're in Seattle all over.
I'm in Bellingham, Washington, just north of Seattle. We have them as well.
Interesting.
I wonder if this is a different species though, if there's more than one, because these balls at the end of them don't look super familiar, but you guys know that?
I'm not sure if they're
seed pods. They are, I have picked up the odd one, but not all trees produce them. So I don't know, to your point, they may be a different type of monkey puzzle tree, but because the ones like ours haven't grown as tall as the one I think I'm seeing in the picture here, but they get fairly big.
Yeah, obviously they like a lot of moisture, which is why they're ornamental where you're at.
Yeah.
Interesting. We're going to have to look that up, aren't we? If there's other species in the genus. The description did not indicate that it was a sole genus, sole species.
They were stolen. We went through a period a few years ago when people were planting them quite small, because a lot of them have been in place for like 60, 70, even more years in Vancouver. But recently, like near our fire hall, they planted maybe a 6 or 8 foot one, and somebody stole it. They actually dug it out of the ground and stole it in the middle of the night.
Wow. Okay, that happens here in Arizona with some of the rare barrel cacti and saguaro cacti that they're very valuable in landscaping.
Well, I don't know how anybody could steal it without getting injured. Right?
Yeah, well, apparently it's worth it to somebody.
Yeah, and they just resell them.
Yeah, interesting.
It's horrible.
We have a lot of trouble with in the redwoods of Northern California with people coming in with chainsaws and cutting up the burl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ours, at least in Washington where I live, have more branches and they are thicker than the one we're looking at. So,
well, you can see the ones behind though, just depending. So this one broke out of the canopy. Maybe if they have more competition, they're scrubbier.
Or maybe this one's really old.
Yeah, well, these are ancient trees. Interesting. So I'll do some research. You can see the cones. I'll do some research on that. Y'all or everybody do your research, and
I'll try to send a picture on the Padlet too of one in our neighborhoods. At least I know where a couple are.
Oh, that would be great. This looks like where the cones were developing. Just have to keep our sketches pretty loose. I'll have to look up how big those nuts are. I forgot to put that in. So we'll put question mark size. So this is endemic to the South Central Andes. Someone could check, if you could check your mute, please. These are dioecious, meaning the males and female cones on separate trees are reproductive organs on different trees. And it's sacred.
Which could be why some trees don't produce cones.
Correct. Yeah. If they're just planting ornamentals, then they're just going to grab a tree, and there may not be yeah, it's probably the male then. But I think is it the female that grows the cones? Ha! I'll have to look that up. Does anyone remember?
Wouldn't it have to be the female because she's the one that produces seeds, and then the male would just pollen? I would imagine people can sex the trees and they're doing something that's just for ornamental purposes. They'd probably choose a male to avoid having cones all over the street and sidewalk and stuff.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Because I know with game, because the fruits kind of smell like vomit.
Oh, actually, that's really interesting because
avoid using the female trees. Although in Ithaca, New York, they have female trees.
Yeah, they do. In my neighborhood, we have one tree that it makes a right mess at certain times of the year. And I, the question in my head was, why this one and not the other monkey trees? But I think you just answered my question.
Yeah, I think that's true. Well, we're going to move on because we only have one species left, and I caught up with the time. So let's see where this next one is. You can probably guess geographically where I'm heading. All the way down at the bottom. And this is just kind of a fun fact-filled thing. This is interesting. This took me a lot of research because this is actually not a species, but a formation. And it's got a lot of different names worldwide. This type of formation these trees are forced into these formations by weather, by incredible winds, and also freezing temperatures. So in the Arctic and in alpine zones, subarctic, these are called Krummholz, which is from the German Krumm, meaning crooked, bent, or twisted, and Holz for wood. So in South America, these are often called banner or flag trees. And there's zillions of pictures of them, but no one ever says what species. So it took me a while to kind of drill down and realize, well, it's a number of different species. But this particular photo, based on where it was, it probably is the endemic Magellan's Beach, which is down in Tierra del Fuego, the very, very base of South America. So beautiful formation. I thought that would be so fun to draw too. So that'll be our final South American tree. And there's the whole hillsides or at the bottom of the world. They all lean the same way. And you kind of, when you walk through them, we were down there in Ushuaia and walked through an area with these, and you feel like you're about to tip over because everything's leaning. It's pretty crazy. So let's put that up. Sorry to give you a little seasick there. Okay.
So they don't grow that tall?
But that one is no, they get really stunted. So they can be 5 or 6 feet maybe, but they're really leaning over. But it's super cold, super windy, really, really difficult conditions for a plant. It's amazing that the trees even exist. So we'll go ahead and we're calling this Krummholz, and I'm going to put that in quotes.
The small scrub oak that we have on Cumberland Island on the ocean side look a lot like that.
Yes, it's the same thing. So it's definitely the same thing. They are battered and subjected to extreme conditions. And we'll put down that it's probably, we'll put the possible species, but let's.
On Cumberland, it's probably the salt spray that is doing the shaping and pruning of the tree rather than cold.
Yeah, wind, I would say, is the primary factor here. Wind and difficult conditions. Imagine evapotranspiration in high winds most of the time would be incredibly difficult. I forgot to leave room for the tree there. So I'm going to do a little, see, I want it to go like this, and then it's going to go, my main shape's going to go up behind my words. There, just wanted to get my shape. So you can see it's got a lot of kind of twists, and then it just sort of goes that way. I could, spend a lot of time enjoying drawing bark and trees. I never take enough time, but it's really a beautiful exercise.
Did you say the link that how tall that particular tree might be, or how?
I could just have to guess. It's probably 6, 8, maybe 10 at the max. At the, if it were growing straight, it would probably be a 10 or 12 foot tall tree. I can't quite tell that without any other scale. So I'm just estimating here. I should have drawn first, written last. sort of get into the zen of these trees. It's easy to kind of lose yourself in it. So they're also called banner or flag trees. And it's possibly Magellan's, likely for the location. Magellan's Beach, which is Northophagus. Betuloides. I like the sketch. It really does feel like it's kind of like leaning over. So I'll be able to do a bit more detail and then maybe add a little bit of color. It's sort of looks like it might be the fall season. Maybe there's some reddish, the leaves. It's hard to tell. Things are dry, looks stormy, hard to tell. So would add, I have some color here we can start with. Just blop in some kind of reddish brown. And then I can come back later and enhance it a little. Let that dry. And I should probably wrap that up. And we'll let that go, come back later.
Roseanne, the last sentence on your sheet there, Magellan's Beach, is that what that is?
That's what we think possibly it is.
And what's the first word, POSA?
Possibly. Sorry, that's my abbreviation for possibly.
Magellan's Beach. Okay.
Yes. So I'll come in here later and do some darks and shadows and things, so make this look more scraggly too. So that'll be fun. But we have like 4 minutes to the end, so I think we've got to. Oh, I I like to throw in just a few extra tips. So when you are out recording trees in nature, I don't know if I showed this on the last one. I don't know if we had time, but I recommend that you experiment with like the seed pods and things, looking for pigments, or press your leaves and things or flowers into a little plant press, and then you can attach them to your journal, either glue them in with PVA glue or put them in a little glassine envelopes, save envelopes when you buy things that come in little plastic things, and then tape them or glue them into your journal. That's always fun. And then finally, I'll put this in the chat, but if you guys enjoy these free, fun explorations, I do have a tip jar, and I'll be sending that out too on the, I'll send you the recording, and that'll be on information on there. So let me stop the share, and we can all come back and say, anyone want to share what they've got?
I would love to.
Okay, so put your raise hand up because I can't see people. So the raise hand function is down under reactions at the bottom, or if you're on an iPad, just look for reactions. So Renata, yay. Okay, I'm going to put you up. Great. And I'm going to step back so that yours is bigger. There we go. Oh, awesome. It's hard to do. I'm going to have to, turn it.
Sorry.
There we go. Oh, nice. Oh, you did a good job with the monkey ladder.
I will post it.
Yeah, that's good. It's hard to do though. I always get all crossways on that, but those look good.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, you did a better job on the what is it? Oh, I just forgot the
Jabuticaba.
Jabuticaba. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's because I grew up eating it. So.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so Juliet, are you ready? Let's see. I'm going to bring Juliet up. You're going to have to Juliet's not quite ready, I think. Let's see. I can't spotlight you, Juliet, until you turn on your video. So anyone else want to share while we're waiting for Juliet?
Thanks, Roseanne. Could you put up the master map at the end?
Yes, I'll put it up, but it's also going to be on the website. I'll do a screen capture. It'll be on the website too. So let's see. All right, Juliet, ready for you. Oh, and you're muted, so we can't hear you. There we go.
Okay, there we go. So I'm putting mine together in a booklet form.
Oh,
these are last times. So I'm starting here with, this was the end of North America, and then moving on to the rubber tree, the monkey ladder.
Nice.
And then
other way. It's always hard to get out of the way. We can't do it the other side. There we go. There we go. Oh, and you tackled the flower for the Jatubaka. I can't say it. Oh, nice. Oh, I really like how you really captured it quickly. I think I was trying to do too much detail. Nice.
And then let's see.
Oh, you got the shape on the Araucaria. Really nice.
And then the last one. So I'm just going to put it all in one book, all 80 trees.
That is a great idea. I should have done that, but
and then use this as a booklet.
Oh, with the nice.
And then it'll all be in one booklet. So anyway.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. I'm going to bring okay, Tina's next, and you have to turn on your video so I can spotlight you. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, let me remove that. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to ask Juliet if she made her book. Did you bind your book yourself or your?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
I did.
That's a good, I like the way you did it flat like that. I'm trying to put mine as we, I think it's cool to have it in one of my, like my mixed media book. I drew my map in it, but I just haven't gotten
Nice.
the all my folded things arranged in there yet. I'm trying to figure out how to glue it in there.
Yeah, I ended up using tape.
Well, I tried some tape and it was tearing my paper. My paper is like 130 or 140 pounds too, so it's, you know. So this today is our South America.
Nice.
Right? The rubber tree. And then we go through, where did we go? We went to
the monkey ladder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, you know, there's some more filling in to do, but I tried it.
Yeah. Oh, I like how you captured those again, just really fast. My goodness, that's fabulous. Love it.
I have a good teacher. Her name is Roseanne. I like this one. This was really fun, and the colors in this Round the World today. I just love the colors.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back and enhance the reds.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how you did the sky on the crumple.
I'm trying to do more skyscapitos. I actually did make your it took me 3 or 4 days, but I made the round
the cyanometer.
That cyanometer. But oh my gosh, I finally got it. I'm surprised. I think I have one here, but anyways, that's mine. I'll get my cyanometer because I'm really proud of it. I did 3 of them, but it took me like 3 days. So that's
actually it does. They're hard to do. Thank you.
Well, especially with lighter pound paper, I found I couldn't put as many layers.
Exactly. Nope, that's true. All right. Looks like Judy, you're holding yours up. So let me bring you up, and then I think that'll be our final share, I think. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Look at you. The reds. Oh, how gorgeous. Let me see. Make that bigger. Oh, I love the your 4 per page. That works really great. Thank you. Nicely done. Oh, I don't think we have audio for you. So if you're talking, I can't hear you, but that's really cool. Nicely done.
Oh, great adventure today.
Isn't it fun? I can't wait to do Africa's next, everybody. I don't know how I'm going to decide. That's just going to be fun. Okay, thank you. Let's see. I've got, thanks, Judy. Oh, there's end of here. Wait, real quick. Tina's showing her cyanometer. Well done. Did you use cobalt? Yeah. Okay. You guys can find that on my website, how to do those cyanometers. And Beth Ann at International Nature Journaling Week also has a tutorial on it. So that's super fun. Oh, so Cynthia, I'll bring you in real quick, and then we're going to.
Mine's done with colored pencil.
Nice. Here, let me see. There we go. Oh, I lost you, Cynthia. There you go. Oh, your camera's kind of cutting in and out. We can't quite see it. So hopefully you can take a photo. I think your bandwidth is really small.
Probably.
Take a photo and we'll have the share set up so you can send it to me and I'll put it on the website. So, okay, so thank you, everyone. That was super fun. Always fun to do. So I'll be going and finishing mine, enhancing the colors now that they're dry, and finishing my South America map. And so next time will be Africa. I haven't set the date yet. I'll do that soon. June and July are busy months for me. I have my Field Arts Boot Camp in July and the Northern Rockies Nature Journaling Conference in June. So very busy. So I'll try to stick one in between. Thank you guys. And The map I will put on the website. I'll have that done soon. So, okay. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you so much. And if I haven't answered your questions, email me and I'll put it on the website too. So thank you. And I put the tip jar in the chat, and I'll put that in the email I send out. So, because I can't find it now. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.